Chapter 311, Who is the traitor? The situation instantly reversed. Ferret was shocked and angered. He didn't expect the situation to turn bad for him. Fong Lin was as calm as ever and actually dug a huge hole for him. But who could he complain to? Your Honor and the esteemed members of the jury, please do not listen to the words of this traitor. He hates me for exposing his identity and intentionally wants to frame a good guy. He spoke with a straight face, tossing dirty water at Fong Lin. But right now, he had already become a suspect. How credible would his words be? In fact, the more anxious he sounded, the more suspicious people would be. Silence. The judge calmly spoke, appearing imposing without being angry. His voice boomed out like thunder in the skies, suppressing all other noises. Numerous gazes gathered on Ferret, filled with judgmental looks. This Ferret was trying so hard to target the defendant Fong Lin. Between the two of them, one must be the traitor. Now, the defendant had used an irrefutable method to prove his innocence, and more than half of the suspicion on him was cleared. In that case, this matter now was truly thought-provoking. The evidence Ferret had used to blame Fong Lin began to crumble. Was there some great hatred between the two of them that led him to deliberately name Fong Lin as the traitor? After Fong Lin brought up his conjecture, the jury members thought back to the many details they had missed before. Back when the Great Qin flying shuttle had crumbled, the warning inside the shuttle had told everyone to swiftly move toward the life-saving cabin. Fong Lin had taken the initiative to rush there and originally, he should have reached the cabin first. But in the end, he had been overtaken by Ferret and his path into the cabin had been severed. Before the attack of the spirit race, Fong Lin had almost exchanged blows with Ferret. From their observations, Ferret had a giant stature and his speed wasn't that fast. How could Ferret have overtaken him when they were rushing toward the life-saving cabin? This conjecture was a little terrifying. Unless this Ferret was a companion of the spirit race and they didn't obstruct him at all. This was why he could have run so quickly through them and arrived at the tunnel leading into the life-saving cabin before Fong Lin. A guilty party filing the suit? What an excellent plan. So it turns out that you are the true traitor. A cold smile could be seen on Puya's face. Although the situation had changed, there was no concrete proof yet. From all aspects, Fong Lin was still the person with the most suspicion. Defendant Fong Lin, what is going on? The tone of the judge grew much calmer. He then asked in a heavy face, don't you have a private flying shuttle of your own? Why didn't you directly use that to leave when the Great Qin flying shuttle was destroyed? Instead, you chose to risk your life and drift through outer space. Because there were simply too many spirit life forms around me. I had no way to leave directly at that point in time. The moment I took out my collapsible flying shuttle, those spirit life forms would also take the chance to invade and destroy my shuttle. If that really happened, that would truly be the end of the rope for me. Hence, I intentionally entered a false dead state to numb the senses of the spirit life forms. At the end, when they were chasing the escape pods and floated far away, I have taken the chance to activate my flying shuttle and fled the scene with my fastest speed. Fong Lin's tone might be calm, but the danger in the scenes he had described caused many people to be filled with admiration. A tiny elite cultivator managed to flee successfully amidst the encirclement of the spirit race. Guts, bravery, intelligence, strength, he didn't lack any of these aspects. He was truly extraordinary. If this Fong Lin really wasn't a traitor, wouldn't he be an extremely rare genius student? This military tribunal placed Fong Lin in an extremely disadvantageous position, but at the same time, he also managed to display his other strengths before everyone. The major characters from the various academies were here in this court. They exchanged glances, and their attitudes were slowly changing. From hostility, to coldness, to calm, and in the end, there gradually was a little admiration. Ferret could also sense that the atmosphere didn't feel too right. He shouted, "Your Honor, esteemed members of the jury, please don't be tricked by him. Everyone knows that only after a human cultivator cultivated to the adept realm would they be able to take the starting step of trying to travel in space with their physical bodies. How could a tiny elite cultivator accomplish this? This is too illogical. If everything is for the sake of survival, it's logical. Feng Lin naturally wouldn't sit there passively with Ferret tossing dirty water on him. He spoke with a tone that could sever iron. Your Honor, I can prove my words. Can you give me a simulation of space's environment? Sure, the judge spoke. Seeing that Feng Lin was very confident, admiration could be seen in his eyes. Ferret suddenly felt a sense of unease. Turel mirror. The judge once again used his powerful spirit force to cleave apart the space, placing Feng Lin into the mirror world. But this time around, the environment Feng Lin found himself in was the vast outer space with no other creatures. Darkness, cold, deathly silence. Air, light, and warmth, they were all sucked away. Huge pressure caused his body to enter a state of compression as basic material particles were vaporized from the pores of his skin. He was losing water and rapidly turning into an ice crystal. Stonebirth transformation. Feng Lin's thoughts, will, and intentions entered the depths of his heart as he was now in a false dead state. He began to enter a deeper layer of the Stonebirth transformation. All aura from him was concealed. A human figure could be seen floating in the void. His skin was covered by a shell, and he was like a lifeless rock, simply drifting along. There was neither beginning nor end, it was unknown where he would end up. What a miraculous ability! It is actually the truth. I can sense the fluctuations of a genetic ability. What mythological path is this? This Feng Lin really is a genius that has created his own mythological path. How unbelievable. There isn't a single strand of the spirit race's aura from him. Countless mental probe swept through Feng Lin. After that, many old fellows of the Great Wall University nodded in confirmation. As Feng Lin continuously proved himself, the suspicion on him had greatly decreased. The gazes of these people actually turned fervent when they stared at Feng Lin. Such a young cultivator was actually able to create a brand new mythological pathway for himself, and he had also successfully managed to enter the next realm. What talent was this? This talent was extremely rare. Even if his current strength was insufficient, his potential far surpassed those geniuses who were already at the Grand Cultivator realm. And there was no need to mention his origins. Feng Lin was absolutely a genius. He was born in the backwater solar system where the spirit particles were clearly insufficient. Yet, he had managed to climb all the way until here and increase his strength to his current height, via constant fighting rather than depending on medicinal resources. This point alone made Feng Lin far more valuable compared to many other geniuses. Retract. After 10 minutes, the simulated universe where Feng Lin was in suddenly changed back to normal. The judge retracted his technique after seeing that Feng Lin's words were true. Feng Lin slowly opened his eyes and heaved a breath of cold air, recovering the energy he had expended. Using this technique to survive in space wasn't without a price. Understanding shone in the eyes of everyone, they felt that it was only logical. For a small elite cultivator to survive in space like the universe life forms, there must be a price to pay. Without realizing it, their gazes toward Feng Lin gradually became warm. And compared to Feng Lin, the suspicion on Ferret greatly increased. Who was the traitor exactly? Countless gazes swept between the two of them. The two of them had been at each other's throat, one of them was definitely a traitor. But who was it? Your Honor, the evidence is still insufficient. We have no way to verify the identity of these two people. Why don't we use a soul inspection? By doing so, nothing can be concealed from us any longer. An old man from the jury suggested this idea. That's right. Although the cost of doing a soul inspection is great, it's worth a try. We must find the traitor for the sake of those students who died a wrongful death. Numerous shouts for vengeance rang out. The judge paused for some moments. After that, he asked, "Do you two agree?" "Sure." Feng Lin didn't fear this at all. He had no guilt in his heart. "What?" Ferret's expression drastically changed. The panic and alarm in his heart surged up incomparably. Chapter 312, True Culprit Revealed. When soul inspection was brought up, the reactions of the two suspects were clearly different. For Feng Lin, he felt no fear at all. Ferret was clearly in a panic. "Your Honor, esteemed jury members, you all cannot believe this traitor. He is clearly trying to frame me because he wants me to die." Ferret shouted. Silence. The judge didn't want to hear nonsense anymore. His eyes were cold as he stared at Ferret. At this moment, his spirit force permeated the area, causing the pressure on Ferret to build up to the point where he no longer dared to speak. There are fair laws governing the military tribunal. A good man wouldn't be maligned, and a guilty person would never go scot-free. Now, neither of you can prove your innocence perfectly. Only through soul inspection would we be able to find the truth. Since there is a traitor, those alien races wouldn't easily believe a human. They would definitely do something to your body. Although the cost of soul inspection is great, as long as we can find the true culprit behind the incident of the Great Qin flying shuttle, everything is worth it. The judge's voice boomed out like a giant bell, reverberating through the court. Ferret felt his body grow soft like he was made from mud. He was helpless to resist this decision. A cold smile appeared on Feng Lin's face. "Now, the two of us are suspects, but you still want to continue framing me. Your words have long lost their persuasive factor, you are only courting your own humiliation. Get the 3 lives mirror over," the judge commanded. Very soon, the doors of the court opened up as a pair of valiant-looking soldiers brought over an ancient mirror as tall as a human. There was also a group of soldiers behind them. Upon seeing the security measures taken to bring this mirror here, one could tell that this definitely wasn't an ordinary object. Feng Lin felt bewildered in his heart. He actually could sense an ancient aura from this mirror like it had survived countless years, there were traces of time on it. He also sensed a similar aura from his measureless divine metal cudgel. This mirror was definitely an ancient mythological treasure. However, this mirror was damaged heavily. It looked like it was on the verge of collapse. The soul was a miraculous thing, it contained boundless profound secrets and was traceless. Given the fact that interstellar humans just restarted cultivation, they had no way to probe into the depths of the human soul. The soul inspection technique was something Feng Lin hadn't heard before. It must be one of the abilities of this 3 lives mirror. No wonder it couldn't be used easily. Given the fact that this mirror was heavily damaged, if the court used it often, it might really shatter apart. "Activate the 3 lives mirror," ordered the judge. "Yes." Those soldiers roared in unison. After that, they undid the seals and sent their genetic energy outwards. A moment later, beams of light intersected in the air, appearing to be some sort of formation. The power of the formation then began to pour into the 3 lives mirror. A rumbling sound could be heard as though the mirror was awakening from an ancient sleep. A dim glow then radiated from it, enveloping Feng Lin and Ferret. This glow wasn't bright, yet Feng Lin felt a sense of coolness permeating his body. It felt like his existence now and 2 lifetimes ago was laid bare, no secrets could be hidden from the mirror. From the dim glow, the shape of 2 human souls gradually appeared, gaining corporeal form. The dim glow continued enveloping them, seeping into their souls. The human-shaped souls then slowly transformed from an adult to a teenager, to a child and into motes of bright light which gradually fused into a ball of light. This ball of light was the source of the human soul. As for Ferret, a look of struggling could be seen on his face, he was clearly resisting. Roar. The air trembled and a baleful roar broke the silence, containing boundless lawlessness, tyranny, and the desire for destruction. What monster is this? Could it be a spirit life form? Could this be a type of spirit life form that has to live in a human host as a parasite? Exclamations rang out in court. Within the ball of light from Feng Lin's soul, an enraged monkey with golden eyes gradually took form, transforming from the ball of light. It pounded on its chest, and golden light shot out from its eyes, directly shooting across space. That's right. Everyone, quickly look, Feng Lin is the traitor. This must be a new type of spirit life form. Ferret was still resisting the soul inspection. He hurriedly shouted out loud when he saw an opportunity. However, many people in this tribunal were elders or people with high positions in the Great Wall University. Their horizons were naturally not shallow. What sort of alien races had they not seen before? There was no way they would believe the one-sided words of Ferret. Something is wrong. This enraged monkey might exude ruthlessness and tyranny, but it seemed to be a biological creature that has an extremely powerful body. It isn't similar to those ethereal spirit life forms that have no corporeal forms at all. That's true. I often fight against the life forms from the spirit race throughout the years, and I've never seen such a type of spirit life form before. Seems like we must watch further. There must be some secrets on this Feng Lin. The dim light continued to seep into the depths of Feng Lin's soul, and the image of the enraged monkey gradually faded away. Look, there's another commotion, someone exclaimed. Feng Lin's soul form reverted to a ball of spirit light. At the next instant, it transformed again into a stretch of chaos. Within the chaos, an 8-trigram symbol appeared and a human with a serpent tail manifested from it. There were 2 pupils in each of his eyes surveying everything in heaven and earth. His body was covered in dragon scales in the pattern of the great Tao. An image of Fuxi. A shout of shock broke the air as exclamations could be heard everywhere. Fuxi was of Chinese race and was treated as the ancestor of the ancestral Feng clan. Their mythological path had been restored over 50% from their fruits of labor based on archaeology. They were considered quite famous among the interstellar humans. Yet, they actually saw an image of Fuxi from Feng Lin. What did this mean? This Feng Lin had the surname Feng. Could he be a descendant of the Feng clan? A true inheritance wasn't something so simple that it would be passed down by blood. It would leave its imprint on the souls of the descendants. With an image of Fuxi, who was a top-tier existence in Huaxia mythology, protecting his soul, no ghosts or spirits would be able to invade Feng Lin. From this point alone, it was already impossible for Feng Lin to be a traitor. So this Feng Lin is actually a descendant of Fuxi. Seems like he definitely isn't the traitor. Could the traitor be Ferret? If not, why would he deliberately target Feng Lin again and again? No matter how I think about it, Ferret seems to be extremely suspicious. The thoughts of everyone here instantly shifted. Feng Lin glanced at the image of Fuxi, a complex look on his face. He had always been independent. Although in this life he descended from a branch of the ancestral Feng clan, he had never thought of depending on them for anything. He didn't expect that ultimately, it was the image of Fuxi that was imprinted in his soul that cleared their suspicion of him. Numerous gazes as sharp as swords instantly turned toward Ferret as though they wanted to pierce through him. What? Ferret felt his heart tremble. His soul source kept trembling and he could no longer resist the power of soul inspection. A layer of fog was lifted like an egg that had its shell broken. From within the ball of light, an octopus-like monster appeared and floated about. Upon seeing so many humans staring at it, the octopus opened its maw and let out a series of sharp howls. This octopus was only the size of a human palm, yet it was formless and had no substance to its body. Just by looking at it, one could clearly feel malevolence radiating from it. Parasite spirit. Ferret is truly the traitor. How despicable. We were almost fooled by him and might have accidentally killed a true genius of humanity. An uproar arose in the military tribunal. The emotions of the crowd were like hellish flames that wanted to burn the traitor Ferret into ashes. Ferret turned completely pale. He was like a dead fish and limped weakly against the back of his chair. The eyes of the judge gleamed. His voice was like thunder, exploding out with killing intent. Ferret, you truly concealed yourself well. So you are the main culprit behind all of this. You conspired with an alien race to harm the geniuses of humanity. Chapter 313, Spirit Race's Killing Order. He is a traitor to humanity. How deep had he concealed himself? We were almost fooled by him. Luckily, we used soul inspection or we would have really trusted the wrong person. The palm-sized octopus was living inside Ferret's soul. The truth was before everyone's eyes, and no words could conceal this fact. An uproar could be heard in court. The Three Lives mirror retracted its glow and reverted to its tattered-looking state. Feng Lin noticed that there were now 2 more cracks in addition to the cracks that were already on the mirror earlier. It was now closer to the verge of shattering. At this moment, Ferret was like a dead fish, lying limply in his seat. Countless sharp gazes turned over. They were filled with hatred, wanting nothing more than to tear him to pieces as revenge for those poor students who died. I'm now pronouncing Feng Lin innocent of the crimes he was accused of. The judge decisively announced his ruling. Feng Lin was silent, he didn't say anything. After so many twists and turns, he finally proved his innocence. Clap, clap, clap. The sound of applause rang out. Well done. Even when facing a situation that's so negative, you showed courage and took step by step to reverse it. As expected of a genius that has survived the attack from the spirit race. Excellent. Now in hindsight, these jury members and people in attendance finally understood how impressive Feng Lin's performance was. The sound of applause roared like thunder. Feng Lin smiled but his heart was calm. Such a display of behavior caused others to admire him even more. The crimson-haired man that had been watching over him, Qi Tianjiao, had completely changed his attitude. He was now very sincere and apologetic. I'm sorry, Junior. I misunderstood you earlier. You are free now. Feng Lin's expression was calm. He nodded. After that, the shackles on him were all opened. Please wait at the side to continue. The hearing isn't over yet. Next, we will continue to hear the case of the Great Qin Flying Shuttle. Under Qi Tianjiao's lead, Feng Lin arrived at a unique seat near the center of the military tribunal. Ferret, how did you plan to harm the geniuses of humanity? Since the judge had confirmed Ferret's identity as a traitor, he naturally wouldn't be polite. His spirit force gushed out, suppressing Ferret completely, not allowing him to resist. The river flowed east for 30 years, the river will now flow west for the next 30 years. Feng Lin didn't need 30 years to get revenge on Ferret for framing him. He already got his revenge now. When Ferret framed Feng Lin as the traitor, did he ever imagine that he would fall so quickly and became a prisoner? Truly, it didn't matter if he died. I have a parasite spirit on me. As long as I board the flying shuttle, it would automatically send out a tracking signal at a unique frequency. Human technology has no way to capture that, but those from the spirit race can. Upon facing the questioning of the judge, Ferret was helpless to resist. His eyes were vacant as he revealed everything. As the sound of his statement rang out, another uproar manifested. Kill him. He isn't fit to be a human. Born a human yet choosing to become a traitor to humanity, harming his own kind. Truly detestable. We must investigate his background and clearly check through all of his 18 generations. The emotions of the people here were like flames about to erupt from a volcano, wanting to turn Ferret into cinders. The judge immediately acted. He directly connected to the Humanity Data Vault and began to investigate Ferret's information. Defendant Ferret, you have parents, an elder, and a younger sister. Your family looks perfect. Why did you want to betray humanity and side with the spirit race? The judge pressed. His gaze was staring at Ferret's eyes. As long as Ferret tried to lie, the questioning methods would no longer be so gentle. The United Nations of America has always been researching the various alien races. Once, as an elite warrior, I chose to join an organization. However, I discovered that everyone in the organization was already infected by the spirit race. I wasn't able to escape too. Ferret spoke lifelessly. What organization is that? Everyone was infected? A commotion rang out. This was major news. The United Nations of America was a supreme interstellar empire, yet they actually had a traitorous organization? This was simply explosive news. What organization is that? The judge repeated. Ferret's expression showed a struggle. The octopus in his soul started to howl. Die. The judge's eyes narrowed as his formless spirit force gushed into the octopus, causing it to explode. Ferret's heart trembled. He couldn't resist the mental suppression and spoke with difficulty. Area 50. What nonsense are you speaking? Someone in the court raged. Those people who were from the United Nations of America knew that Area 50 was one of the most secretive areas on the planet. All core secrets of the United Nations were stored there. But now, this man actually said that the people of Area 50 were all infected and were now traitors? How could this be possible? Your Honor, this man is already controlled by the spirit race. We cannot believe his words. Those people from the United Nations of America were both shocked and angered. Silence. The judge shouted. Who dares to make a clamor in court? Whether this is true or not, I have my own judgment. After that, no one dared to interrupt any longer. The judge cast a deep glance at Ferret. Are your words true? Yes, Ferret replied with a blank look on his face. Those Americans were all extremely angered. The others had gloating looks on their faces. The United Nations of America was once a hegemon in the ancient Earth era. They were humanity's #1 country back then. But after the interstellar era arrived, they were surpassed by the Huaxia Star Republic and had always wanted to gain back their supremacy. They were deeply committed to developing science and technology, as well as research into alien races. But who could have thought that one of the most secretive organizations in the United Nations of America was actually infiltrated by aliens, and not a single person knew about it? This was simply a joke to the entire interstellar humans. Why did you not target others but chose Phone Lin specially? The involvement of Area 50 was too scandalous. This wasn't a suitable topic to talk about in this military tribunal. The judge was content with a smattering of information about it and shifted to the next question. That's right. Everyone also grew curious. There were over 50 survivors of the Great Qin Flying Shuttles incident. Yet, why did Ferret not frame others but chose to target Phone Lin? Could there be something special about Phone Lin? When they recalled the enraged monkey with golden eyes as well as the image of Fushi in his soul, all of them grew more and more interested in Phone Lin. This Phone Lin seems to be walking on a unique mythological path that specially counters the spirit race. Before this, the spirit life forms actually failed to do anything to him and many of them died instead. This was something they remembered deeply. Hence, they placed Phone Lin's name into their killing list. All spirit lifeforms would do their best to kill Phone Lin if they encountered him. They are afraid that Phone Lin would become an extremely huge threat to the spirit race if he continues to grow. They want to strangle him while he is still in the cradle. Ferret spoke in a heavy voice. He was filled with trepidation about Phone Lin. So this was the case. Understanding appeared on the faces of everyone as they sighed in praise. When Phone Lin spoke about his experience, it sounded simple, but the difficulty of what he had done to survive far surpassed their imaginations. Since he was unaffected by the spirit life forms and could even kill them, how could the spirit race not feel wary about him? A mythological path that specially countered the spirit race? Without realizing it, their eyes were filled with fervent looks when they stared at Phone Lin. It was like they were staring at a priceless treasure. We need to further investigate and verify the facts about the Great Qin Flying Shuttles incident. Therefore, we will hold court another day. This tribunal will be temporarily dismissed. The judge seemed to be afraid that the things Ferret revealed would be too shocking. It was no longer suitable for a public trial. Hence, he decided to end the court session here for now. The vast majority of those who attended this court session today came here by virtual means. Many illusory silhouettes in this military tribunal glanced at Feng Lin deeply before disappearing from the spot. Feng Lin. A crimson-haired, muscular fellow walked over. It was none other than Qi Tianjiao. Senior, is anything the matter? Feng Lin spoke puzzledly. Qi Tianjiao had a warm smile on his face as though all the unhappiness before was just an illusion. He laughed. Junior Feng Lin, in order to express my apology, I wish to personally invite you to join the War Academy and we will give you a top-grade scholarship. How about it? Chapter 314, Vying for Recruitment. Top-grade scholarship? Feng Lin was bewildered. He just arrived at the Great Wall University and still didn't understand the exact rules here. That's right. Qi Tianjiao explained. Since it is a university, there would naturally be scholarships. But this scholarship is only used to encourage those peak-tier geniuses. Despite so, your performance in the spirit race incident isn't any way inferior to those peak-tier geniuses. You might just be an elite cultivator, but you have the potential and strength of a grand cultivator. I can make the decision and get the War Academy to give you a top-grade scholarship. Feng Lin was able to survive despite the killing order set by the spirit race. This indicated that his potential was so high that the spirit race had already treated him as a mortal enemy. He might be an enemy to them, but he was a genius to mankind. As long as the people in the Great Wall University weren't fools, they would all be able to see his potential. Who wouldn't feel their hearts moved? Hence, when the trial was concluded earlier, this Qi Tianjiao hurriedly came over because he was familiar with Feng Lin. He wanted to be the first to give him such optimal conditions so Feng Lin would join the academy he was representing. Qi Tianjiao's gaze was filled with heat. He stared at Feng Lin with fervent hope. He wanted Feng Lin to agree. Feng Lin hesitated. He didn't know what he should say. But all of a sudden, someone else suddenly spoke up. Don't listen to him, Feng Lin. A top-grade scholarship can only cover a year's worth of school fees and an additional 10,000 contribution points. It isn't even worthy of a single mention. Why don't you join our Gene Academy? I can give you a special grade scholarship, and the contribution points you can receive are over 10 times that of a top-grade scholarship. The voice rang out from afar. A middle-aged man in military uniform then personally appeared, inviting Feng Lin. This treatment was truly preferential. The Great Wall University was clearly giving him heavy recognition. When Qi Tianjiao heard of this, his expression instantly turned unsightly, but he had nothing to rebut. Clearly, the identity of this middle-aged man wasn't ordinary. Special grade scholarship. Feng Lin's heart stirred. He didn't expect the Gene Academy to give him such preferential treatment. When Qi Tianjiao saw his expression, he knew that that was it for him. However, things weren't concluded yet as another cold snort rang out. The War Academy and Gene Academy are too miserly. Feng Lin, what's the point of joining such stingy academies? Why don't you come and join my martial academy? Not only will we give you a special grade scholarship, but we will also give you 100,000 contribution points per year and will also invite the strongest martial masters to impart their martial arts to you. This voice was like thunder, and soon, a burly man in heavy armor walked over here. He looked like a small mountain, thick, tall, and muscular. His eyes flashed with a ferocious light as he glared at Qi Tianjiao and the middle-aged general. He then turned to Feng Lin and grinned, looking like a ferocious tiger. Feng Lin frowned. He finally knew what was going on. It seemed that the killing order of the spirit race had helped him instead, causing the Great Wall University to value him heavily. These 3 academies were all vying for him. His heart stirred. Up until now, the Martial Academy seemed to be his best choice. I want to join the MAR. As he thought about this, Feng Lin no longer hesitated and prepared to agree. Hold up. A gentle and warm voice suddenly drifted over. Feng Lin glanced in the direction of the voice only to see an old man in ancient-style Chinese clothing walking over. A peaceful look could be seen on his face. He was very amicable-looking and gave off a feeling of a kind grandpa. He didn't seem like a cultivator. Master Hai. These people here immediately greeted respectfully when they saw the old man. The origin of this old man must be extraordinary. Feng Lin stared at that old man, waiting for him to speak. Feng Lin, do you want to join my Mythology Academy instead? The old man smiled lightly. Master Hai, you are actually also interested in Feng Lin. The burly man from the Martial Academy spoke in disbelief. That's only natural. Master Hai smiled, not concealing his objective here. This Feng Lin created a brand new mythological path and is also a counter to the spirit race. He is merely at the elite cultivator level, yet the spirit race already placed his name on their killing order. If he doesn't join our Mythology Academy, where should he join? Only with us would he be able to fully excavate his true potential. Master Hai, even if you put it this way, I won't agree to it easily. Although I respect you, everyone can see for themselves regarding Feng Lin's potential. He is able to fight head-on with the spirit race and is definitely a good seedling for the martial Dao, said the burly man in a heavy voice. That's right. Master Hai, the academies would always fight for geniuses. I believe you, sir, know this rule better than us. Unless you can give him better conditions, it's impossible for us to let you bring him away. I also agree. Qi Tianjiao and the middle-aged general spoke together. For a time, great academies were vying for Feng Lin. No one was willing to take a step back, and this caused numerous gazes in the surroundings to turn here. Many of the students wanted nothing more than to replace Feng Lin themselves. The Mythology Academy? Feng Lin pondered. Given the name, it should be an academy that specialized in researching mythologies. Although Feng Lin's expertise was exactly this, the Great Wall University was one of the top 10 universities in the cosmos. Their foundations would surely be extremely deep, and there might be some inheritance objects from the various ancient mythologies in the academy that could verify the knowledge he had regarding mythologies. Maybe, he might even be able to find more truths about ancient cultivation pathways. Seeing that he was still hesitating, the people from the 4 academies exchanged mutual glances and respectively gave out more promises. Feng Lin, as long as you join the War Academy, all conditions are negotiable. Qi Tianjiao promised. The War Academy is the #1 academy of the Great Wall University. Experts in there are as common as clouds, and there are many monstrous geniuses of the younger generation as well. If you learn from them, it would only benefit your growth, allowing your cultivation speed to increase. But when Feng Lin heard this, a frown creased his face. Although Qi Tianjiao's words sounded good, his tone made him seem extremely lofty. Feng Lin could detect arrogance from him. He had his own path to walk, why should he compare himself to others? Learning from others? What a joke. Feng Lin knew very well which path he wanted to walk. Although he didn't know if there would be anyone in the future who walked on the same path as him, he knew for sure that no one had walked this path before him save for the progenitor of this path, Sun Wukong. This was a lonely path. No one could provide any guidance to him, and he could only depend on himself. Feng Lin cast a deep glance at Qi Tianjiao. Qi Tianjiao had a look of absolute confidence on his face, like he was sure Feng Lin would definitely agree. However, he had no idea that Feng Lin had already eliminated the War Academy as a choice the moment he spoke. At this moment, the middle-aged man also spoke. Feng Lin, The Gene Academy is focused on research about gene evolution and the knowledge of how to put the genetic abilities to good use. It involved all aspects of genomics. If you want to proceed further on your mythology path, the Gene Academy is undoubtedly your best choice. We can also give you a special grade scholarship, please consider us seriously. The burly man also spoke up, Phong Lin, fighting is a man's romance. The Martial Academy pursues the martial Tao to temper the human body, achieving an evolution in terms of the tiers of life. We don't depend on external strength, only focusing on our bodies, training it to reach a level equal to universe life forms. If you enter our Martial Academy, the special grade scholarship is naturally yours, and you wouldn't lack contribution points too. There would also be a variety of rare and valuable cultivation resources for you. The other two also spoke up at this moment, giving him the same conditions, wanting to acquire Phong Lin no matter what. However, Phong Lin didn't immediately give his reply. He turned his gaze to the Master Hai of the Mythology Academy. Master Hai smiled and he had a kind and amicable look on his face. Phong Lin, the Mythology Academy is the academy with the weakest authority in the Great Wall University. Other than a special grade scholarship, we won't be able to give you too many things. However, I can make a promise to grant you an extremely valuable thing. What are you referring to? Phong Lin involuntarily asked. Freedom. Master Hai laughed. Freedom? Phong Lin was bewildered. Master Hai nodded, confirming his words. That's right, freedom. Absolute freedom. Chapter 315, Interstellar Heaven's Chosen Ranking. As long as you join our Mythology Academy, other than the guaranteed special grade scholarship, we won't restrict your freedom. We will give you an independent room and as long as you complete the course credit, you can do whatever you want in your free time. We won't force you to go to the battlefield. You can move about unrestricted and can reject any illogical conscription from the other academies that force you to go to the battlefield. Master Hai laughed. Phong Lin instantly sank into contemplation. On one hand, he would have free influx of contribution points, while on the other hand, he would have freedom. Which should he choose? Contribution points were the essential essence of transactions within the Great Wall University. As long as you had enough contribution points, you could trade for anything you wanted from the various students or the university's treasure vault. But after thinking about it, he came to a decision in his heart. Contribution points could always be gained based on his abilities. But it was hard to obtain freedom. Phong Lin was very clear that he possessed too many secrets and his path was unique to him alone. He needed independent space for him to grow. From the start to the end, he was very clear about this point. There was nothing in this world one could depend on. Everyone could only depend on themselves. Under the stunned gazes of the other recruiters, Phong Lin smiled and spoke up, I choose to join the Mythology Academy. Master Hai instantly revealed a smile, his eyes flashed with admiration as he stared at Phong Lin. Wise choice. Although our Mythology Academy has the lowest authority in the Great Wall University, our foundations are the deepest. Only by joining us would you be able to maximize your potential. Vast amounts of mythology knowledge might be able to guide you further on your unique self-created path, maybe until the very end of the universe. Phong Lin smiled but didn't reply. He understood that Master Hai's words were just encouragement. He simply nodded in acknowledgement. Cultivation was something that depended on oneself, talking about things like that was useless. In the future, his path had to be walked by him alone, step by step. I hope you won't regret your choice today. Qi Tianjiao's expression was unsightly. Despite him personally coming here to recruit Phong Lin, his attempt had failed. He cast a deep glance at Phong Lin before turning and leaving. Interesting. Obtaining so much freedom might not be a good thing. Do you want to depend on yourself solely to forge a mythological path? How difficult must that be? When your cultivation base increased to a higher level and if no seniors were guiding you, you would find it difficult to even advance an inch forward. The middle-aged general maintained a smile on his face, but his tone clearly wasn't as calm as his expression. Little brat, I initially thought that you would be a courageous man since you fought head-on against the spirit race. I didn't expect that in the end, you actually chose such a weak academy like the Mythology Academy. What a pity. The burly man shook his head and spoke. Clearly, he was very disappointed with Feng Lin's choice. Feng Lin was as calm as ever. No choice in this world was really good or bad. There was only whether was the choice suitable or not. He followed his original heart. Once he had decided, he wouldn't regret it. Upon seeing that he had no intention of changing his mind, the middle-aged general and burly man had gloomy looks on their faces as they left. Master Hai smiled as he sent a wall of information over. This is some basic information about the university and where you would be staying. Now, you are already an official student. In 10 days, the other exam candidates who were recruited by us in the trials would all arrive. At that time, the school would start. You best get yourself familiarized with the school environment during these days. Our university isn't a peaceful place, the intensity of the competition here actually exceeds the other university. I hope you will be prepared. He summarized all the main points and told Feng Lin. He clearly held Feng Lin in very high regard. Yes. Feng Lin nodded. You can call me Dean for now. Well, actually, I'm just a vice dean. Master Hai laughed. He placed his hands behind his back and departed. Feng Lin stood at his original location and laughed mirthlessly before he left. The Great Wall University was constructed from a combination of metallic fortresses built on fixed stars. The majority of the star fortresses were military installations. Only a minority of them formed an area for education. Students would stay in different areas depending on the academies they joined. The Mythology Academy was located in the third star fortress. As for the military tribunal, it was located in the first fortress. That meant that for any activities in the university, the students must travel the interstellar distance between the fixed stars. He sat in the interstellar orbiter, which was the means of travel here. As he stared outwards through the transparent alloys of the orbiter's walls, he could see numerous blazing fireballs floating in space. They radiated boundless light and heat. The speed of the interstellar orbiter was extremely fast, and Feng Lin soon arrived at one of the star fortresses. The atmosphere here wasn't as solemn as the first fortress. There were many man-made environments to simulate nature in the third fortress, such as myriads of emerald green lakes and fields of lush grass. They exuded a sense of tranquility. Feng Lin silently marveled. He then followed the information he had obtained from Master Hai and located his room. Although Master Hai said this was a room, it was more apt to describe this as a small-scaled villa. It was filled with tip-top facilities for any purpose. Even better, everything was fully electronic and was controlled by the AI. Welcome, young Master Feng Lin. I'm AIAR 45, pleased to be of service for you. Feng Lin didn't reply. The moment he entered, he immediately closed his eyes to aid in his recovery. Earlier, he had used the stone birth transformation again to resist the spirit race's attacks and the simulated universe environment. His internal injuries were serious. He drank the remaining holy transcendent water, which transformed into warm currents that flowed around his body and nourished every part of it. Feng Lin's muscles heaved up and down like the tides, as steam diffused from his body. Pooh. He suddenly coughed out 2 mouthfuls of dark-colored blood. All of the clotted blood and fragments of his damaged internal organs were flushed out. However, the exhausted qi and blood couldn't be replenished so easily. After some time, the potency of the medical strength completely healed his body, yet his genetic potential didn't increase at all. Feng Lin opened his eyes and began to contemplate. After the tussle in space, his losses were just too heavy. Not only were the various genetic potions and pills on him used up, but even his flying shuttle was damaged. When he had been cultivating, one of the university staff had returned the interspatial ring of the flower fruit mountain. According to the AI's scan, the damage index actually reached 60%. If the damage sustained was slightly more, the flying shuttle would have crumbled apart. Luckily, the flying shuttle came with a repair system. As long as the core hub wasn't damaged, it could repair itself completely provided that it had sufficient materials. All of these required star coins. No, in the Great Wall University, what he needed was contribution points. Feng Lin stood up and headed toward a giant skyscraper inside the fortress. This giant building actually had 1,000 stories, and its tip touched the sky. Within the building, every inch of it was fully lit up. It was extremely conspicuous. The Contributions Building. This was the place in this star fortress where one could go to obtain their contribution points, or exchange one's contribution points for other goods. Welcome, freshman Feng Lin. The door of the building automatically opened as a mechanical voice rang out. Majestic, spacious, lofty. The interior of the building was that of a spiral structure that continued upward. The light shone brightly, each ring-shaped corridor on each level had a dazzling lineup of treasures. Spirit crystals, micro-mecha armor, divine blood potions, all sorts of rare cultivation resources could be seen here. Naturally, all of these could only be exchanged with contribution points. Their prices varied according to how valuable they were. Feng Lin didn't know where to start when he saw all of this. Latest news regarding the Interstellar Heavens Chosen Ranking. Third-year student, Zhao Yue of the Great Wall University successfully topped the ranking at the adept level of the Interstellar Heavens Chosen Ranking. An imposing voice abruptly rang out within the Contributions Building. Feng Lin lifted his head. He could see a giant board suspended in the air near the roof of the Contributions Building. Interstellar Heavens Chosen Ranking. Chapter 316, Mission for Contribution Points. Interstellar Heavens Chosen Ranking. The giant board in the air was shining like stars in the night sky. Each of the names on there was glowing brilliantly. There were a total of 3 levels to the Interstellar Heavens Chosen Ranking. The Sun level, Moon level, and Star level. The levels corresponded to the Elite Adept Realm, and Grand Cultivator Realm respectively. Feng Lin clicked the information sent to him and discovered that the Interstellar Heavens Chosen Ranking combined the ranking of all geniuses in the top 10 Cosmos universities. These geniuses were all below 30 years old, and the ranking didn't care about one's background or origin. It only cared about cultivation and strength. Feng Lin was silently startled. There were so many geniuses in the universe. To think that there were people who had reached the elite adept level before the age of 30. This was simply unimaginable. Right now, Feng Lin was only an elite cultivator. He didn't even qualify to enter the star level. Senior Sister Zhao is so awesome. She ascended to the top of the moon level so quickly. Females have an innate disadvantage when it comes to combat prowess, however, Senior Sister Zhao was actually able to dominate all the men and ascend to the top of the moon level. Truly impressive. Senior Sister Zhao is only a step away from the elite adept level. Given her strength, she most probably would reach top 100 in the Sun ranking the moment she broke through. The AI in the building announced the latest results. Many students halted their steps and gazed up at the giant board while singing praises. Feng Lin glanced over and he could see a name floating at the number 1 spot in the moon level ranking. Zhao Yue, born in Huaxia City. She is from the Martial Academy of the Great Wall University and is proficient in water-fire Tai Chi martial arts. Her combat prowess far surpasses her peers. The name of a female could be seen there, dominating the names of many of those from the same generation below. It was extremely eye-catching. To cultivators, if cultivation speed was compared, females wouldn't be inferior to males. In fact, females might far surpass males as some unique paths required special physiques to cultivate. But because of the innate differences in physical aspects, when the cultivation bases of males and females were equal, Females would be slightly inferior in terms of combat prowess. This Zhao Yue was actually able to dominate countless males. It could be said that she was a woman among women and wasn't a simple character. Compared to him, right now, he didn't even have the qualifications to join the rankings. The joy he felt upon successfully joining the Great Wall University vanished completely. No matter how strong one person is, there will always be someone stronger. Upon ascending to a different peak of the rankings, it didn't mean that one could relax. The competition there was even more intense. Cultivation was like trying to swim against the currents, one could never be careless. Feng Lin cast a deep glance at the Heaven's Chosen ranking. Right now, all of this was still too far away for him. It wouldn't benefit him if he thought too much about it. If he wanted to purchase cultivation resources, he had to earn contribution points. Contribution points couldn't be exchanged for buy-star coins. The students needed to accomplish missions or head to the battlefield and achieve some merits before they could gain the points. Feng Lin managed to find the mission about hunting the space goblins. The missions could also be classified into the sun, moon, and star grades. Each grade could be further classified into high tier, middle tier, or low tier. Space goblins were considered an alien race akin to cockroaches. Their combat strength wasn't strong, but if no one cared about them, which allowed them to breed freely, their population would surge explosively in just a few short years. Hence, hunting space goblins was a perpetual mission. It was considered a low-tier star-grade mission, and its primary purpose was just to train students, to allow them to get the feel of doing missions. The contribution points awarded wasn't high either. Feng Lin handed over the heads of the space goblins he had hunted coincidentally in the past, and only received 500 contribution points. This bit of contribution points only allowed him to purchase the ingredients for 1 furnace of the marrow cleansing pills. It was simply not sufficient to spend. It seemed like he had to think of some ideas to gain contribution points. Feng Lin pondered silently. By choosing to join the Mythology Academy, he undoubtedly received the greatest freedom, but he had chosen to give up some of the more tangible benefits. However, since he had already decided, he wouldn't regret this. Feng Lin activated his ID microchip and connected it to the university's network. He swept through the missions segment, and a variety of missions appeared in his vision. Hunt the Astral Beast, Alloy Ceratopsian Beast. Reward, 10,000 contribution points. Explore the outer Milky Way galaxy and discover a new life planet. Reward, 1 million points. Hunt spirit life forms, each spirit life form can be exchanged for 100 points. Hunt a giant astral beast. Reward, 10,000 points. There were all sorts of mission. Feng Lin frowned. The majority of these missions had too high of a difficulty. They weren't something a tiny elite cultivator like him could attempt. Maybe grand cultivators could barely make the cut. But even so, grand cultivators had to work in a team for there to have some hope of success. The hunting of spirit life forms looked simple, but spirit life forms were innate universe creatures that could exist in space. One had to fight them in outer space, thus, the risks were too high. If the flying shuttle was damaged, the students that went on this expedition would be exposed to the vacuum environment and die miserable deaths. Feng Lin had experienced this before. If one didn't have enough strength, they couldn't even do any mission. The situation now was more difficult than he had imagined. The Great Wall University was one of the top 10 universities in the cosmos. Therefore, grand cultivators were considered bottom feeders. As for him, a mere elite cultivator, his strength was definitely insufficient. The truth was as such, this was something that couldn't be mitigated for a short period of time. Feng Lin could only calm himself down and continued browsing through for suitable missions. Sadly, although there were many missions, he couldn't find one that was suitable for him. It was either hunting astral beasts and alien races or exploring the universe. All of these carried inherent danger and required a group of experienced people. The minority of the missions were concocting genetic potions. Sadly, the contribution points given were simply too little, not worth the effort. Feng Lin temporarily put these potions concocting missions to one side. If he still wasn't able to find a suitable mission at the end of the day, it wouldn't be too late to accept them. Look, quickly look. Senior Sister Zhao Yui issued a new mission. Restoring an ancient medicinal recipe. Reward, 50,000 points. This mission has no risk, yet there's so much reward. Moreover, we would be able to form a closer relationship with Senior Sister Zhao. We cannot miss this chance. Under the mission interface, a screen of chat popped up, attracting Feng Lin's attention. Restoring an ancient medicinal recipe. Reward, 50,000 points. Mission issuer, Zhao Yui. A mysterious picture appeared below the mission, showing a substance that looked like a pile of mud. This pile of mud seemed to have experienced the tribulation of time and had already corroded. Its original form was now obscure. However, it radiated an intense spiritual qi and medicinal potency. Feng Lin took a single glance and his eyes instantly narrowed. Alchemy pill. He had seen this scene before. This was clearly a substance from ancient times that had crumbled after such a long time. How did this Zhao Yui obtain this ancient alchemy pill? Restoring an ancient medicinal recipe? Could it be that she has found a new mythological ruin? Feng Lin's heart stirred, feeling that this was very possible. He could accept this mission. Not only would he be able to obtain large amounts of contribution points, but he would also gain an ancient pill recipe and the information about a mythological ruin. This Zhao Yu was one of the rare powerhouses in the Great Wall University. Things that could attract her attention definitely wouldn't be ordinary. Wasn't this simply the mission he was looking for? He could kill many birds with one stone. If one talked about cultivation, right now, his cultivation base could only be considered meager. But if one talked about alchemy, he who had obtained the alchemy inheritance was confident that he wouldn't be inferior to anyone. This mission, he had to apply for it no matter what. Feng Lin's finger tapped as he decisively accepted the mission. In the taskbar, a message appeared. Please gather at the Special Medicine Refinement Lab. We will administer a test to see if you are qualified to accept this mission or not. Chapter 317, Xiantian Potion. There was a test before one could accept this mission? Interesting. Feng Lin grew increasingly excited. If the conditions to accept this mission were so severe, this also meant that the rewards were great. To him, this mission was full of advantages. Hence, even if it was slightly troublesome, he didn't mind it. Feng Lin retracted his gaze from the mission board, turned, and headed toward the Special Medicine Refinement Chamber. He sat on the orbiter and soon, a laboratory-like chamber that exuded the feeling of advanced science and technology appeared. It was brightly lit and maintained a sterile environment. There were many types of medical ingredients being stored here, the number and variety of them far surpassed his imagination. This could even be described as luxurious. This medicine refinement lab was constructed by the Great Wall University, and the students could use this lab by paying a certain number of contribution points. There was a total of 4 grades: low grade, mid grade, high grade, and special grade. The higher the grade, the more advanced the equipment and the more valuable the medical ingredients one would be able to use. This special lab needed a fee of 1,000 contribution points just for an hour. This Zhao Yu rented such a lab to be used as a testing ground. She must truly be wealthy. The instant Feng Lin entered, a mechanical voice sounded out. New student Feng Lin, this lab is rented by someone. Please provide a proof before you can enter. He waved his hand and sent out the information of him accepting the mission. The AI instantly responded, please enter then. The alloy doors swung open as Feng Lin entered. In the lab, there were already many people gathered here. It was like a scene out of a banquet. There were all sorts of people here, and all of them had a look of arrogance and pride that came from their hearts. There were items such as spiritual plants and genetic potions on them. Clearly, these were all geneticists. Feng Lin used his spirit force to sense the area. He could faintly smell a type of medicinal qi that radiated from these people due to their constant concoctions of genetic potions. Evidently, these people were here for the mission as well. Through this mission, not only would they be able to gain some knowledge about an ancient medical recipe, but if they managed to complete it, they could form a relationship with Zhao Yui, who was #1 on the moon level ranking. This fact alone naturally caused many to sign up. These people coldly glanced around, enmity and competitive spirit could clearly be seen in their eyes. Everyone wanted to succeed and no one wanted to fall behind the others. But Feng Lin was the same as well. Pa, pa, pa. The sounds of footsteps rang out. A muscular black-haired young man walked to the center. His upper body was naked, and his skin was dark like he was forged from black metal. He exuded an aura that indicated he had been through countless battles and was very experienced with killing. The aura of blood could be sensed from him. "The test will start now," said that guy. These geneticists instantly questioned. "Isn't this a mission issued by Senior Sister Zhao Yui? Where is she? Could this mission be fake? If Senior Sister Zhao isn't here, this test won't be counted." A series of clamor rang out. Many of the people here wanted Zhao Yui to come out. The eyes of the majority of these people gleamed with excitement. It seemed like they actually didn't want to take the test. Most probably, they wanted to use this chance to meet and fawn upon Zhao Yui. Feng Lin was among the crowd, simply waited as he observed. The black-haired young man coldly snorted, "Who the hell do you all think you are? This is a mere test to determine your qualifications. Why would a character like Senior Sister Zhao come here personally? Unless you can restore this ancient medicinal recipe, don't even dream about gaining favor from Senior Sister Zhao. Now, the test shall officially start. Only the first 10 who managed to succeed in brewing the Xiantian genetic potion would be qualified to take the mission and know the secrets of the ancient medicinal recipe." After having given these people no chance to object, he immediately opened up a screen that showed the formula of a genetic potion. Then, he just stood at the side with a cold expression and no longer speak. Clearly, he didn't care what these people thought of him. "It's great if you do it, but if you don't want to do it, just scram." Those geneticists were prideful individuals. They naturally wouldn't be able to stand such provocation. However, Feng Lin wasn't like them. He silently did his stuff, opening up the recipe while silently marveling at how rich these people were. For the sake of a test, they actually shared the information of a genetic potion to everyone. This Xiantian genetic potion was a mid-martial perfect-grade genetic option. It was worth tens of millions of star coins if this was sold in the universe. To think that someone actually gave the recipe out for the sake of a test. The world of the wealthy was truly extremely puzzling to him. This time, Feng Lin felt that his decision to enter the Great Wall University was correct. Regardless of era, the control of the cultivation resources would always end up in the hands of a few. For example, this Zhao Yui could casually hand over a mid-martial genetic option. This was simply unimaginable for those in the solar system. The use of this Xiantian genetic potion was to cleanse one's energy and marrow, expel all impurities from the human body, and purify flesh and blood. If one consumed it regularly, their bodies would have a chance to evolve into an extremely rare Xiantian body, which allowed their cultivation speed to increase greatly. This was good stuff. Feng Lin's heart stirred the moment he glanced at it. Regardless of whether he was able to complete the restoration of the ancient medicinal recipe or not, he had already benefited from receiving this potion recipe. Dragon snake grass 100 grams, scarlet spirit powder 52 grams, Zhurong solution 300 ml. Feng Lin memorized the recipe while he started to act. This was indeed a special medicine refinement lab. There were all sorts of ingredients here. He prepared 3 portions of the ingredients and found a station as he began to work. His methods were extremely regular and thorough. A stalk of snake-like grass was crushed into a powder and mixed with the scarlet spirit powder. After that, the boiling Jurong solution was poured onto them. An intense reaction instantly happened. As the 3 ingredients fused, they gradually achieved a sort of hypostatic union and their color turned to amber. This indicated that the medicinal properties of these 3 ingredients were now perfectly integrated together. Feng Lin was the first to act and instantly drew countless attentions from the surrounding people. But when they noticed his cultivation level, sneers and mocking smiles appeared on their faces. A tiny elite cultivator wants to show off here? This Xiantian genetic potion isn't something that anyone can brew. Feng Lin didn't care about their sneers. His hands were extremely steady, adding the ingredients bit by bit methodically. Given his current powerful spirit force, he was able to accurately sense the medicinal potency and properties of each ingredient. He had no problems to refine them. As they continued watching, these people could no longer smile. Although this was the first time this brat tried his hand at this recipe, it appeared like he was extremely familiar with all the steps. The cultivation of this young man wasn't high, but his attainments in medicinal refinement seemed to be extraordinarily high. He would surely be one of their toughest competitors. The people here treated each other as their opponents, so they were all shocked by Feng Lin's domineering performance. Huge pressure arose in their hearts as they hurriedly acted, not willing to fall behind him. A smile appeared on Feng Lin's face. He wasn't simply brewing the genetic potion. He was using absolute strength to crush everyone else to gain the qualification to take this mission. A tube of genetic potion already appeared in his palm. Feng Lin's movements changed. He actually placed the tube over fire to heat it while guiding the process with his spirit force, causing the potion to crystallize. Crystallized medicine creation technique. This strange scene caused shocked looks on the faces of everyone. What the hell was he trying to do? Was this a substance manipulation technique? Chapter 318, Mysterious Geneticist. A potion that is in a liquid state is actually being boiled using fire? Isn't he afraid of the potion evaporating? Which joke in the universe is he telling? This fellow is just here to make a scene, right? Don't tell me that because he failed to brew the correct potion, he wanted to destroy the evidence? Mocking laughter rang out. Feng Lin's unique actions caused intense mocking looks to appear in the faces of everyone. They acted as if they were watching a comedy show. However, Feng Lin remained immersed in his concentration. As the fire burned, the moisture gradually turned to steam, but the medicinal potency didn't dissipate at all. It was completely locked within the potion by Feng Lin's spirit force. At this moment, crystal particles started forming and fusing, and gradually, a purple jadeite crystal bead appeared before everyone. What is that? When using fire to boil the potion, a crystal would actually be formed? What an incredible medicinal refinement technique! The potion didn't evaporate like they said it would. Instead, it actually transformed into a strange crystal. This bizarre method caused some of them to sigh in admiration. Even the black-haired young man, who had his eyes closed, actually opened them and stared over. His gaze flashed, no one knew what he was thinking about. Gotcha. At the next moment, a cracking sound woke them up from their phases. Feng Lin frowned and hurriedly tossed the crystal away as he dodged to the side. A thunderous boom echoed. All of a sudden, numerous cracks appeared on the purple crystal. It broke apart and transformed into smoke. A powerful storm of medicinal force gushed out. The people in the surroundings weren't able to evade in time, and their countenances instantly turned red like they had suffered heavy injuries. They felt as though they were being stuffed with vast quantities of medicinal ingredients, which caused their blood to churn intensely. Devour. Before this storm of medicinal force could fully explode, the black-haired young man moved. He opened his mouth and took a deep breath. At the next instant, all the medicinal force was fully swallowed into his stomach. Was the body of this fellow really made from iron? The medicinal force was so powerful, but he was able to withstand it. As geneticists, all of them were incomparably clear about the consequences if their brewing of a genetic potion failed. The genetic potion, which was originally of great benefits to humanity, would manifest some irreversible transformation to their medicinal properties. Medicine might turn into poison, and the side effects would be heavily magnified. The burst of medicinal force upon failure might even cause weaker cultivators to lose their lives. Yet, this black-haired young man swallowed it all with a single gulp. The taste isn't bad. The medicinal potency is maxed out, but sadly, it is too explosive and the side effects are too great. The black-haired young man mumbled like he was a food critic. Fong Lin retracted the shock in his gaze as he sank into contemplation before nodding his head after some time. This was also the reason why he prepared 3 portions of ingredients earlier. Earlier, when he saw that the crystal had been successfully formed, he didn't make any intentional changes. At the last moment, due to the strength of the fire being too great, the medicinal properties were overly stimulated, which resulted in the explosive failure. After pondering over the reasons and highlighting the crucial points, he began to try again. Even if he failed once, Fong Lin didn't hesitate to try again. His movements were as methodical as ever. Although his first attempt was a failure, no one dared to look down on him this time around. The other geneticists then shrugged and focused on their stuff, beginning their own attempts as well. These people were able to join the Great Wall University. Although their cultivation bases weren't high, their technique in brewing potions would definitely not be weak. All sorts of medicinal refinement techniques were being put on display now. Water flow control, fire intensity control, elements control. Numerous surges of genetic power reverberated through the air, being infused by the geneticists into their medicinal refinement. Temperature, airflow, medicinal potency, subtle changes appeared in all of these. Numerous tubes of potion were being brewed. Fong Lin glanced at this scene. He who had an unorthodox origin in terms of potion concoction also gained some insights. Upon seeing a higher level of usage of medicinal refinement techniques, Fong Lin understood that other than understanding the base nature of mythological genes, they had to regulate the efficacy of the medicinal ingredients to play a targeted role toward the human body. At the same time, they had to infuse their genetic powers into the genetic potions. This was the base nature of transcendent medicine concoction. If not, if one just depended on chemistry and tried to fuse various medicinal ingredients together, no matter how brilliant humanity's techniques were, how could they surpass machinery in potion concoction? Genetic powers were something only humans had. At this moment, his medicinal refinement had almost been completed. Fong Lin didn't think any further and started to crystallize the potion. Under the guidance of his spirit force, the fire emitted waves of heat, evaporating the liquid potion. The medicinal particles slowly fused together, changing from a liquid to a solid state. A purple jadeite crystal gradually took form. Upon seeing the crystal forming, Fong Lin instantly retracted his spirit energy in controlling the fire. His spirit sense then swept into the microscopic world of the crystalline structure as he controlled the particles to solidify from the liquid state. But the moment the fire power fluctuated, the particles immediately failed to come together. This caused instability to the structure and created a chain collapse effect. Fong Lin opened his eyes and discovered that the purple crystal had now dissolved into sand particles. Its effect was completely wasted. Another failure. This young man is thinking too much. He clearly isn't familiar with this technique, yet he still uses it and resulted in wasting materials. He must be crazy to think that he could possibly succeed and gain the qualifications to take the mission. Some of those geneticists had been paying attention to Fong Lin's movements. When they saw this, they heaved a sigh of relief and shook their heads. Refining medicine was a technique that required incomparable precision. If an error was made, no matter how minuscule the error might be, the results might become extremely different. If the fire was too strong, it wouldn't work. If the temperature was not high enough, it was also very difficult to effectively crystallize the liquid solution. Feng Lin silently told himself to wake up. His technique was still too reserved. However, he had already understood the crux of the problem. Even though he failed twice, it did nothing to waver his confidence. At the next moment, Feng Lin acted again. He didn't rest or regulate his breathing but immediately started his attempt once more. Now, his handling was like butterflies weaving through flowers as he moved faster and faster, actually forming after images with his hand. Very soon, the first half of the Xiantian potion was completed. Feng Lin began to try and crystallize it once more. He started again? This fellow truly doesn't know when to give up. It's good too, we will have one less competitor. The people in the surroundings watched coldly as wild joy filled their eyes. However, Feng Lin was as persistent as ever. This time, he went all out, but his handling and methods were as stable and meticulous as before. His spirit force was unleashed to the max, forming an extremely fine web that covered everything with his perception. All minute changes that occurred to the medicinal ingredients were fully captured in his perception. The medicinal properties then meshed together, and the interior structure of the mixture formed an extremely tight crystalline structure, which exuded a sense of geometrical beauty. Countless tiny crystals were packed together, forming a resplendent purple jadeite crystal. The instant it was formed, countless gazes were immediately attracted over. It was as sparkling as a diamond, and it took a long time before anyone could shift their eyes away. Feng Lin actually succeeded. When those geneticists saw this scene, all of them were in an uproar. Potions could be crystallized? Was there any point to it? How did he accomplish this? Under the looks of misgivings of the crowd, Feng Lin brought the crystal to the black-haired young man. I've finished brewing the Xiantian potion. This is a potion? The black-haired young man accepted it. He looked at the crystal that resembled a diamond as he was rendered speechless. A potion, clearly, potions referred to liquid-state medicinal substances. How could this be a potion? He couldn't help but be puzzled and asked, "What kind of technique did you use?" This is a technique of my own creation, the crystallized medicine creation technique. This can concentrate the essence of the potion and maximize its medicinal potency, answered Feng Lin calmly. Maximize the medicinal potency? What huge words! The black-haired young man laughed teasingly. Let me try it then. He casually tossed the crystallized Xiantian potion into his mouth like how one would eat a peanut. But almost instantly after that, his expression froze as his body remained unmoving at his original location. His skin flushed red. There seemed to be waves of lava coursing through his blood and steam was emitted out from him. His entire person was like a fat goose being roasted over a fire. Chapter 319, Martial Queen. The heat waves churned wildly, and the black-haired young man's entire body was flushed red. His black metal skin was like being roasted in the furnace, so red that it looked like it was about to melt. Hoo. Large clouds of steam gushed forth from his nostrils, his entire being was emitting smoke. Such a phenomenon caused the people in the surroundings to feel shocked. This Xiantian potion is just a mid-martial perfect-grade genetic potion. How could its effects be so powerful? Isn't this a little bit exaggerated? Could it be that the potion concoction failed and it is causing huge side effects? If this was the case, this young man is out of luck. Numerous gazes turned over. All the expressions of the geneticists were that of rejoice in Feng Lin's misfortune. The chest of the black-haired young man heaved up and down, contracting and expanding. Finally, after some time, he gradually calmed down. He stood up as a bright light flashed in his eyes. In just such a short while, his aura had actually grown much stronger. What a tyrannical medical potency. I almost failed to endure it. The black-haired man drew in a deep breath as a look of lingering fear appeared on his face. He was no longer as calm as earlier. He cast a deep glance at Feng Lin, no longer looking down on him. He solemnly spoke, "Master Feng, please come with me." Although Feng Lin's cultivation base was just at the elite cultivator level, which was far beneath him, this black-haired man still addressed him as a master. In this special laboratory, everyone was struck dumb. They could just stare in shock as Feng Lin followed the black-haired man away. That Xiantian potion actually succeeded. The cultivation base of this brat is insignificant, yet he is a master at medical refinement that has created his own style? What nonsense is this? Their minds were in chaos. This scene was completely out of their knowledge, they had no way to understand what just happened. "Master Feng, please come with me. Next, I will bring you to meet with senior sister Zhao Yui, you have to be careful not to offend her." The black-haired man might be arrogant, but he was very respectful toward those with true capabilities. He gently warned Feng Lin but didn't elaborate further due to some difficulties. Feng Lin got more and more curious. He was just going to meet with a person, was there a need for this black-haired man to act like this? The two of them were actually heading toward a very large training ground. When they walked over from afar, Feng Lin could already feel shocking auras in the air clashing with each other. The intensity of the clashes was so great that even the air was trembling. Rumble. All of a sudden, a fearsome burst of power gushed forth, so strong that it felt invincible. There seemed to be a giant invisible barrier up ahead where no one could cross over. What tyrannical power! Feng Lin was silently shocked. They waited for the power to dissipate a little before continuing on toward the training grounds. A lanky female figure of about 1.75 meters in height stood at the center of the training ground. She was clad in white-colored practice robes, and although her features weren't extremely beautiful, she exuded a sense of heroism that wasn't inferior to any man. She had a ponytail and looked capable and experienced. Her eyes shone like stars in the night sky. A group of men was currently surrounding her. She who seemed like a weak young woman actually caused these men to reveal expressions of fear, terror, and trepidation. It was like they were facing an extremely terrifying opponent. Their auras clashed in midair. The heroic-looking woman was actually dominating everyone single-handedly. She was like someone in a group of wolves, defending herself with no fear at all. Let's go at her together. If not, we wouldn't be a match for senior sister Zhao. The men exchanged glances before rushing forth together. Blazing Fist. Wind God Leg. Cloudline Palm. These men all launched various genetic martial arts, creating phenomena such as blazing flames, violent wind, and dark clouds which intersected together, forming a giant energy torrent that threatened to engulf everything. All of them were grand cultivators, and none had held back. The scene was incomparably terrifying. The powerful fluctuations created an intense pressure in the air. Yet, the heroic-looking woman simply faced the attacks head-on. Her eyes shone with calmness, and she was not moved by the power of the attacks. Cannon Fist. She abruptly punched out. A dainty white fist blasted forth, yet it had strength enough to penetrate 1,000 mountains, strength enough to shatter the dome of the heavens. Boom. The punch created violent ripples that instantly caused the energy vortex to disperse into chaotic currents. You guys are men, why are you so weak then? Are you all like a flower vase? Good only in appearance but have no true abilities? Seeing this bunch of men cowering and not daring to rush her, the heroic-looking young woman frowned and expressed her unhappiness. She actually began to rush them alone. Water-fire Tai Chi. She drew a deep breath. One of her hands wielded fire while the other wielded water as she drew full circles in the air. Her palm techniques seemed continuous and without end. Water was soft and supple, fire was blazing and unyielding, they perfectly fused together by means of her martial arts. There was actually a trace of the true essence of 1,000 transformations within. The group of men unleashed all sorts of techniques respectively. Their punch force was great, Feng Lin estimated that he could at most exchange 3 moves against them before being beaten down. However, that young woman simply stood where she was. Her hands drew arcs in the air, forming a complete circle of fire and water which protected her in a stance that could repel all attacks. Bang, bang, bang. Her palms shifted left and right, gathering strength from the soft movements, as relentless as water yet erupting forth with the blazing power of a volcano. Tai Chi seemed to be soft and supple, but it was actually a school of extremely powerful and hard martial art. Once it blasted out, the force unleashed was incomparably violent. Those men weren't even able to withstand a single strike, all of them were sent flying through the air. They were like falling leaves in the gentle wind. The surroundings where the young woman was standing at was completely clear, with no one else to be seen. As a female, she defeated all the male cultivators here alone. This heroic-looking woman had a hint of tyranny in his aura, and her combat prowess wasn't inferior to men at all. That black-haired young man beside Feng Lin had a look of respect in his eyes. He spoke in a low voice, "Did you see it? This is the martial queen, senior sister Zhao Yui of our Great Wall University. Although she is a woman, her shocking prowess in martial arts was sufficient to dominate her peers. This is why she is at the top of the moon-level Heaven's Chosen rankings." Feng Lin was silent, yet his gaze wasn't calm at all. How vast was the universe? How many geniuses were there? As a female who had an innate disadvantage in terms of physique and combat prowess, she actually dominated all the male geniuses in her generation that was at the same adept cultivator realm as her? How difficult must this be? Just thinking about it would cause one to feel a sense of disbelief. Yet, this Zhao Yui had accomplished this. A queen of the martial path? A martial queen? Feng Lin cast a deep glance at the heroic-looking young woman in the center of the training grounds as he noted her name down in his heart. Senior Sister Zhao is a martial fanatic. Later when you go over, you have to be careful when speaking with her. If not, if she wanted to spar with you, the consequences. The black-haired man suddenly seemed to have thought of an incomparable terrifying matter. He who had been like a ferocious tiger earlier was now as gentle as a kitten and was even shivering. "Hey, you. Iron Pillar, come and spar with me." At this moment, Zhao Yui glanced over and spotted the black-haired young man as she called out. "Senior Sister Zhao, please spare me. I just came here to bring a medicine refinement master over to see you. He has created a brand new school of thought in terms of medicine refinement and has extremely high capabilities. He might be able to restore the ancient medicinal recipe." The black-haired man's earlier solemn expression at the qualification test completely changed now. Extremely high capabilities? How can you judge that? Anyway, I will know after I spar with him. Zhao Yui's phoenix eyes turned toward Feng Lin directly, seeing through his cultivation base. Oh, an elite cultivator? Fine then, I will suppress myself and use strength belonging to the elite cultivator realm to spar with you and test your capabilities. It has been a long time since I last used this move. Black Tortoise Jean. Her aura expanded. A giant tortoise image with a snake as its tail appeared. It exuded a pressure that bore down on Feng Lin. The phenomenon of the black tortoise, Xuanwu, appeared. This Zhao Yui is from the Wudong planet of the Huaxia Star Republic. Is everything just a coincidence? Feng Lin's eyes narrowed as a shocking thought flashed through his mind. Could the mythological path this woman was walking on be the Xinwu Great Emperor mythological path? Chapter 320, Xinwu Emperor Mythological Path. The Xinwu Emperor was also known as the Xian Heaven Emperor, Xian Martial Great Emperor, Demon Dominance Heavenly Sovereign, and the Nine Heavens Devil Subduing Ancestor. He was the god of the north in ancient Huaxia myths and legends. The world of the north emphasized on massacre. Being a heavenly sovereign of the north, Xinwu Emperor subdued and killed demons. He was a powerful immortal in the three realms. Even the three realms' true lord Erlang was a far cry compared to Xinwu Emperor. In ancient Huaxia on Earth, Shenwu Emperor's domain was Wudong Mountain. Its symbolic beast was even the northern divine beast, the black tortoise. As the Huaxia Star Republic entered the interstellar space, they kept on getting stronger, becoming an existence that could dominate the eastern Milky Way galaxy. Wudong Mountain, being an ancient cultivation sect, had also strengthened relatively. They had taken up a life planet and even governed a star region. It was the Wudong planet. When Zhao Yui reached the top of the Heaven's Chosen ranking previously, Feng Lin had clearly seen that she came from Huaxia Wudong planet. She also specialized in water-fire Tai Chi genetic martial arts and now showed signs of revealing the black tortoise. He couldn't help but think deeper into this. How is it? Do you dare to fight it out? Zhao Yui didn't put up an arrogant front but smiled very innocently. This was a pure feeling of joy when a martial artist encountered a new opponent and was raring to go to have a spar. She was really a martial arts addict. Feng Lin secretly thought of this when he saw the pure feeling in her eyes. There were no hints of contempt, arrogance, or biasness at all, only sincerity toward martial arts. Even though he was only an elite cultivator who was a lot weaker than her, this valiant lady didn't hold any ill intent toward him and challenged him. With a brand new opponent and a brand new challenge, there would also be a brand new comprehension. Such a pure Dao heart was really touching. Such a strange lady. Feng Lin was full of admiration for her. From the point he started cultivating until now, he had yet to encounter a person with such a firm Dao heart. She was a powerful opponent who deserved to be respected. It was no wonder she could suppress countless proud talents despite being a lady. With her identity, background, aptitude, will, and martial techniques. If Zhao Yui couldn't become a strong expert, who could? Interesting. Strong battle intent radiated from the depths of Feng Lin's eyes. This was merely a spar. What was there for him to be afraid of? So what if this Zhao Yui was a famous martial queen in the Great Wall University? Even if she really took the Shenwu Emperor mythological path, Sun Wukong wouldn't lose out to him either. Although there was a difference in their cultivation, Zhao Yui had clearly said that she was going to fight at the level of an elite cultivator. Therefore, there was no reason for Feng Lin to shun. The whole meaning behind cultivation was in comprehending the endless amazingness and contending against countless geniuses. Faced against the challenge from this martial queen, Feng Lin smiled, "Come." The people who had suffered a crushing defeat against Zhao Yui exchanged a glance, stunned. To think that this kid agreed. He really doesn't know his limitations. Even if Senior Zhao were to use the elite cultivator level battle prowess, there's no one who is a match for her amongst those of the same realm. But this is good as well. Senior Zhao won't be targeting us then. They were secretly rejoicing. All right. Zhao Yui's gaze was that of admiration. Feng Lin drew in a deep breath, bent his body, and put both his hands together in front of his chest while taking the form of claws. He was like a ferocious tiger groveling on the ground, wanting to pounce out and tear the enemy in front of him into pieces. Beast-like fist art. Interesting. Great interest rose in Zhao Yui's heart. The piercing cold and abnormal auras coming from Feng Lin felt extremely familiar to her. This was a baleful aura that was naturally produced after a person had been through countless battles and tempered by blood and flames of war. A good opponent. Battle will rose in her heart as well. Right now, their battle prowess and cultivation weren't far off from each other. This Feng Lin might be an opponent that was hard to come by. Black Tortoise Force. Burning with eagerness, she made her first move. A wave of intense cold aura rose from her body, and her beautiful hair was dyed in the color of silver frost, fluttering in the wind. The space distorted and there was a faint image of the black tortoise howling out, causing the air to seethe. A pair of delicate-looking fists smashed out plainly, and wherever the fist force passed by, apparent cavities would be created in the air, and a chill was emitted across it. Even Feng Lin could feel the bone-piercing chill. His blood and vital energy were all frozen. Roar. Feng Lin stimulated his blood and vitality, bringing up waves of heat to scatter the chill away. However, during this time, the pair of fists had gotten close to him, glistening like jade and emitting a series of glow. Tiger Dash. Feng Lin's two claws tore out fiercely, as if he was a tiger pouncing down from the mountains, wanting to tear its prey completely into pieces. The fists and claws collided. The two ferocious powers clashed fiercely. Feng Lin's body trembled and he retreated for 10 consecutive steps. Zhao Yui didn't have it good either and was made to back off 3 steps. Although she had only used an elite cultivator-level battle prowess, her powerful physique as an adept cultivator was still present. After their clash, Feng Lin only ended up slightly at the disadvantage. The group of spectators stared with eyes wide open and wore stunned expressions. Right now, Feng Lin and Zhao Yui were no longer concerned about how others thought of them. The moment they were separated, they rapidly headed for each other once again. Zhao Yu turned her fists into swords, piercing out repeatedly using sword fingers. It was as if she was the most skillful assassin, specially targeting Feng Lin's critical spots. Her attacks were filled with sharp and compelling force. The sword attacks appeared to be faintly discernible, but the killing intent penetrated through the air, combining both yin and yang. The black tortoise had the appearance of a merged tortoise and snake. The tortoise was heavy while the snake was fiendish. Zhao Yui's attacks were filled with unique force, and she kept performing killing moves that ordinary people would find hard to handle. However, Feng Lin wasn't someone to be trifled with either. Beast-like fist art. Monkey, tiger, crane, leopard. The heart monkey force had a variety of changes, and Feng Lin's body also changed accordingly, taking on the form of a myriad of beasts. His moves were vicious and brutal, and his body was tough and hard to destroy. He did not yield at all. If Zhao Yui was like the most skillful swordswoman with light, agile movements and extremely skillful sword moves, then Feng Lin would be like the king of beasts, extremely wild and violent, with decisive killing moves. The forces kept blasting all over the battlefield. Feng Lin didn't dodge at all and forcibly brand this chilling force. As a perfect grade transcendent gene, the spiritual stone monkey gene was unrivaled amongst other genes of the same grade. The stone monkey body was impervious to fire and water and couldn't be penetrated by blades and spears. There wasn't a reason for him to dodge. To his surprise, he discovered that Zhao Yui's situation wasn't much different from his. A force that was both gentle and strong formed a circle, protecting her. It seemed to be material yet also flowy like water. Any impact that landed on it would move with its waves, having their prowess stripped off without having dealt any harm. The black tortoise image sat poisedly in the air. Waves of water gushed frantically and no techniques could invade its territory. The black tortoise gene, Jinwu mythological path. The more the fight continued on, the more Feng Lin was taken by awe. The Jinwu mythological path was definitely not weaker than the Sun Wukong mythological path. This battle was very exciting. All this while, Feng Lin had always trampled over his peers. Only people who had domineering cultivation would be able to bring him pressure. The feeling of sparring against someone with similar battle prowess was far too amazing. He was rarely able to experience something like this. As they sparred, Feng Lin comprehended even more martial arts profoundness without realizing it. It was the same for Zhao Yui. Her eyes radiated strong battle intent, and the black tortoise image moved suddenly, taking on a form in the air. Feng Lin dashed forth, bending his body and leaving his arms dangling to his knees. It was as if he was a violent monkey, and his fists smashed out fiercely like hammers. Suddenly, it turned into a fight between the black tortoise and Wukong.